Let's get started. Let's start standing, please. It's common that like standing on your feet is always a good place to start. Let me just mute everyone quick. Life's on your feet, right? And that's where we need strength, coordination, and muscle activation. So just take a moment. I like to still keep it yoga, okay? Even though I'm pretty fitnessy often. Roll the shoulders back, okay? Stand up tall, squeeze your butt and your thighs. I like to do a little bit of this. Calf raises, shin raises. I like to do like wrist rolls, even just a little bit of that. Shoulder rolls, just to kind of like tune into the subtleness of the body, run my awareness through the body. Really guys, yoga means union. Union with what? Union with God. That's what yoga is. I don't really teach spirituality. That's a whole different layer of our being. And I believe if we become very healthy, that side of us manifests more. So I bring it to like virtuous practice and deep philosophical things, but I don't really teach the kind of spiritual religious side that much. So let's lift the crown up. Let's take a big inhale, big exhale. Take a couple more breaths. If you need to start with mouth breathing, you can, but I could sit here and convince you easily to become a nasal breather. I can't rattle off it all the time. You just gotta trust me. You don't want to be a mouth breather, okay? Keep your lips sealed, your tongue to the top of your mouth, and your teeth slightly together. So there is a slight activation in your jaw. Slight, barely. No jaw clenching either, okay? The back of your tongue, this is all the tongue. Look at this tongue movement. Do you see how low this brings? I learned when I was anatomy, a human can't live without their tongue, okay? Imagine the importance it has about all this stabilizing through here. There is a muscle connection fascially that connects your tongue to your cardio muscles, your heart. Okay, so we want to learn to keep the tongue at the top of our mouth, breathe in and out our nose. I like to start with squat kriya. We did do this on Sunday. I like to repeat so we're getting some muscle memory. First kriya, bend knees, knees go out, arms reach low. Inhale, arms swoop wide, chest lifts. It is full body. So it is a hinge. I do want my hips going lower than my shoulders. So what I see a lot of times is people go like this. That's not it. It is a hinge, but it's more a squat. So look at my butt go low. You see how my chest stays over my knees? And it's a big arm circle. So we're not doing this kriya, which is like my true favorite, but here, here. And it doesn't have to be structured, right? If you're a little tight, achy, low on energy, it's just softer, so it looks like this. You don't have to move through end range all the time. Yoga has turned into this kind of contortionist gymnast thing. And I often do that, but should everyone be doing that, or should I always? No, definitely not. There's a couple of days a week, or even 3 or 4, you can do that type of thing, but we do want to be kind to our body, right? So that's clear now. Where we were talking about nutrition, how things have really changed in the last like 20, 30 years. A lot of the things we were told to do, low-fat diets, really horrible now. They're really recommending against that. And it's just like a lot of strenuous exercise. We do want some, but not too much, okay? Now, that's squatting. Now we go into lunging. And since this is softer, we can twist this early. So I pivot left, I push and I pull. I pivot center, right, I push and I pull. My goal is to move my whole body. Now I'm pivoting and rotating and adducting. So I do squeeze my thighs together and I push with if the right foot's in the back, I push with the opposite arm, the right arm forward, and then I pivot and push. It doesn't have to be exact. Okay, it is what's called like free movement practice. Often that's called vinyasa in yoga. This doesn't look like vinyasa that you know of. But yogis, you want stronger, you kind of like twist. You can even do stuff like this. Again, I'm breathing so you can kind of hear it, but I do want nasal breathing. I'm not trying to I know a lot of teachers and fitness people that teach mouth breathing, and I'm not trying to diss or judge anyone. We're all doing our dance and working on things. Don't become a better mouth breather. It's kind of, we know that the nasal breathing, one of my favorite things is the olfactory hypothalamus response. You have better neurogenesis. The only sensory neurons, dendrites, that touch the hypothalamus neurogenesis center in the body directly is your olfactory. It's the nose, all right? So in a nutshell, breathe through your nose, keep your brain young, okay? Nasal breathing, okay? So now we come to our first stiff Kriya. This is the exact start we had on Sunday. I really like it. Feet together now. Feet were just wide pivoting and feet were wide bending. Arms up, please. You can do other versions. You can do stuff like this. Okay, we've often done this early. So here, big inhale, palms sealed together. Now everything's a little tighter, less range. Exhale. So we're already in 3 planes of movement. This is lateral. We just did pivoting and rotational, and we did kind of forward and back, up and down. It's just this, guys. I'm not seeing how far I can bend. I am bending to lengthen with some tension. I'm not trying to like hyper compress necessarily yet. Just going side to side. Easiest is something kind of like this. Or, we do stuff like this too. We've done that one before. We've done this one. And this one. After a couple like really big movements, kind of tighten it up is the idea there of why I'm picking that exercise, all right? So here's where we are gonna switch it up a little bit. I don't want you to do too many of that one. This is now the true hip hinge. So it's called the RDL in fitness, fundamental, symmetrical, but then I'm gonna do the knee up today, so like a wind removing. Just take it easy. The main part I want you to do is this. Knees bend, weight in your toes, stick your tailbone up and away. Exhale up, squeeze your butt, lift your left knee into your chest. You can squeeze if you want to, right? Left foot down, hinge. Pull the belly up, and if you can, you like lift your chest a little bit. So a little arching is okay when it's done intentionally. Arching, people always, you hear this a lot. Like I watch a ridiculous amount of fitness videos. I follow all these physical therapists, these like celebrity trainers, which a lot of them, in my opinion, are just, they're doing all this stuff that's very weird, but they're like, never ever arch your back. And that's such a weird cue to say never ever arch your back. Arching your back is bad when tension does it unintentionally. So your back is designed to arch, right? We cat-cow all the time. Your back is designed to round. If you never round or arch your back, your spine will become very stiff. We do want to find places in our wellness routine to move that spine. They call it an arch, but really it's just spinal extension. It means the muscles in your back shorten your back line, so they pull the spinal column in like a back bend. Spinal, and then we call it rounding. Don't round your spine. It's just like flexion. It's just an action. That's like saying never straighten your arm or never bend your elbow. We do want to do that, okay? But just, we want to be very mindful about it. I do agree with that, okay? So let's keep going here, yogis. Now I forgot what's next here. Let's just go, I remember what's after that. Come up nice and tall here. Let's just come back to our neck. I do want to warm up our spine a lot if we're going to go straight for the back and the abs. So lift your crown and just nice and light neck circle. Nice and light, right? I see it all the time. I worked with a woman last night. Her neck was hurt. She called me for an emergency massage. And how'd it happen? With her trainer, too much aggressive neck. What she thinks, she was doing this neck thing. Neck needs extra caution. It's not used to big movements like bending over like this. It's not used to fast movements or weight bearing. So when we do it in yoga, a little extra caution. It's just a general rule of thumb. If you never bear weight on your arms, you start slow and small. You build up your body's memory to bearing weight and range of motion and speed. Second direction, neck circles. And it is recommended to do neck circles pretty much like every day, like just a couple. All right, each direction soft and slow. Now, they actually do it really fast, like the gymnasts, really fast big neck circles, but I'm not going to teach that. We don't need that necessarily. So I do want to go for a second lunge. Remember, we want to really, if we're going to do abs, we have to like lengthen through our front body and back body a lot. So I'm going to step back up here. And now we're going to do a little different today, all right? So let me show you what it looks like here. You're going to inhale here. Now I'm going to have you bend forward as you step forward. It looks like this. You don't have to go this far. Look. And you want to start slow with this one. Yoga core is where we push it, yogis. This is called mobility. It's strength through range of motion in movement, which is lately being considered the best form of exercise if you had to pick one. Better than just getting on a treadmill, because it is a lot of repetitive movement. But it also has strength, flexibility, and what we call functional training. We need to teach this body to bend over, because you got to do it every day, whether you're ready or not, whether you're tired or not, okay? So it looks like this. It's that full body back bend. Doesn't have to be a lot. It can be this. And then this can be this. I am rolling my shoulders back. I am intertwining the opposite pinky on top. I am squeezing my palms together behind us, just like before I squeeze them in front. Remember, when our arms are up here, it's a push. When arms are back here, it's considered a pull. You hear a lot of the fitness experts, they break down your arms in a lot of categories like push and pull, okay? They're opposites. It's just like doing hip flexors or glutes or lower back and abs. So that's, you gotta get those arms back and together. So horizontal ab and ad, it's good stuff. Now, I wanna keep going with my standing movements for a good another about 5 minutes, okay? Now here's where we're gonna get a little bit bigger. Now I want your legs to stay sturdy. First position, but sturdy legs. So we're not doing narrow squat right now, all right? Feet go wide. I want you to, if you have a yoga block, you can grab it, or just pretend. Now look, don't hold your block. Spread your fingers and squeeze. Shoulder blades still, back and down a little bit, okay? Here we go. Exhale, inhale. We haven't done this one, I don't think, in a few, maybe weeks or even a month or two, and it's just too good. Notice, I'm not straightening or bending my legs. I'm not letting my knees go like this. Exhale, inhale. And you got to turn with your core, yogis. You got to really make that come from the core. You got to relax your shoulders from your ears, and you got to breathe. You will fatigue way faster if you don't breathe well during any exercise. Remember that every second, your cells are trying to breathe. So if you restrict that, you're just not going to have as much muscular endurance. You're going to get way more lactic acid buildup, okay? Now, some of you are shaking it out. Good idea there. So we do have our second side, and you know me, variety of movements, 1 round each, boom, boom, boom. Next thing, let's keep the brain confused. Here you go. Exhale. Twist right here. This is twisting up away. This is closing little. You know, we could do stuff like this for that. I don't really like that bicycle exercise that much on the back. You really want to be warmed up for that. I don't really teach the lane bicycle kicks once in a while, but there's just countless exercises I would think would be a little bit better. So you got your last round here, guys. So work hard. We're gonna do like 2 more standing movements today, and that's it. All right. So I really want you to push this strength here. Next week in Yoga Core, I'm going to bring back a little bit of the martial arts type, like kind of kicking. We already did kind of like a punch, and we are going to do the lateral kick today. We're going to do a few extra next week. It's going to be a good one, all right? Martial arts are like fantastic. So get that block out of there. And now this one's a little bit interesting. We've done it before, and it just starts by bringing your feet together now. And I shift my weight to my right leg. I just slowly lift the left leg, literally just out to the side. So I stabilize, balance is starting. I abduct, my leg doesn't go forward or back. If you want more, yogis, you could go something like this. They push out. Warning, this is a lot of strain through your back, okay? It's a lot easier to just keep your arms in. You'll notice if you do that same exact thing, but you go like this, there's a lot more strain through here, okay? See how it's like the full Kriya, once you're really good at stabilizing and developing range, is more like curl into a little ball, spread everything out laterally. Curl into a little ball, and ideally your feet are like basically together. Okay, last few. A warning, lower back strain. The deepest lower back muscle is a lateral stabilizer. Okay, it's a hip hiker. And it gets pissed off easy, that muscle. So our final, that's good, yogis. Give me one of these. Our final standing movement is balance, and it's slow hip circling. Okay, I do want to do this today. We will do it twice, once standing. So, this is good too. Look, you got to loosen up for a moment. It's a pretty aggressive start, Okay, so after this, we're going to stretch and then do a stretch or two, and then we're going to be on our abs hard. Okay, and then we'll hit the glutes and then the back. So here we go. Shoulders back and down, good posture, very simple. You can start hands on your hips if you want, just shoulders back and down, right knee lifts. So just listen close, my right knee lifts. Now watch, I don't change my hips or my chest, I just bring my right knee over to the left like 2 to 3 inches. You're gonna feel like your inner right thigh fire, okay? And then I'm gonna turn the inner right shin up, flex my right foot, lift it up, hold it. We do this one in dynamic exercise, right? Same thing with static. Now listen, bring that foot down. Now bring the knee wide. Don't let your hips turn out, okay? Both hips are facing forward, yeah? Now, if you want to try lateral rotation, it's like your inner shin turns up. Yep, your hip flexor is going to be mad at you here. Lift it up higher. Now, watch, heel under knee. Your outer right shin goes out and up. So look from the side. You're here. Now, push that heel back. But don't let your chest come forward and lift the outer foot up higher. Yeah, I know, right? You already got to take a break, right? That should take it out of the hip flexor because you're now pushing into your butt. Go slow, bring it down, bring your heel to your butt, point your toe. Right knee up. Over to the left, across a little bit. Inner right shin turns up. If it's like torturous, you're doing it correct. This stuff is really hard. We should be doing this more, okay? Heel under the knee, lift it up higher, bring it out wide. Maybe try to lateral rotate there too. So Inner right shin will turn up. You're going to get minimal rotation in the horizontal abduction. But medial is easier, right? So knee back, well, not easier, but you can move more freely. You're here, turn your right hip down, but don't change anything in the core, and then push your right heel back and bring the outer right shin up. We kind of did that movement here to kind of warm up for that, right? So you're here. Oh, I'm tilting too much. Knees back down, squeeze your heel to your butt. Point your toe, do not let your back arch. This is like our main hip training today. We will do one more thing though, later in practice, one main thing. Right foot down, check it out. Now in the true training, we would go 5 circles in each direction, even slower. So I am being easy, okay? Left knee lifts, hold. Just hold it there. First time, we want to hold flexion. When I do this a lot, I'll put like a 20-pound kettlebell tucked around my toes, and I'll hold here. That's why I can lift my knee so high, because I put weight on it a lot, okay? So here we go. Bring it across just a little. So it's a scissoring of the thighs, very subtle. You squeeze your inner thighs like at the top together. Then you add lateral rotation. So your inner shin thighs reaching up and over. Remember the yoga pose like this? It's the dance of Shiva. We haven't done that in a while. We should do that. Back to center, out to the left. Don't let your hips open. Keep it forward. Now try lateral rotation there. Heel under knee, medial rotation. Turn the outer thigh up and kick your heel back. Hold. You want to be in that tension, yogis. So now you're not going to feel as much in the front. It's going to shift to here, the outer hip. And as you learn to kick back more and out and laterally medial rotate, you're going to get the glute medius, glute max. Knee down, point your toe, squeeze your heel to your butt, pull your belly in. So it should be the opposite. You should give your hip flexors a break. So you don't want to be here, knee back, here. Anytime you engage your hamstrings, glute maximus, you're going to encourage your hip flexors to soften a little, okay? Round 2, knee up. This is our balance for today, by the way. We're not doing any more. Turn the inner shin up. Lateral rotation, it's called, or a lot of people say external. I always say lateral medial. People have commented on that. That's just a little bit more of like, I don't want to say a professional way to say it, but they're just interchangeable. Internal, medial, external, lateral, right? That's how I learned it in myology, okay? Back out. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky again. You immediately rotate. So everything's going to want to move, but try to keep the rest of the body sturdy. Outer edge of left foot lifts, and I push that butt back. And then I lift the outer edge of the left foot higher, immediately internally rotating from the humerus to the hip. Okay? Oh my goodness. And then push it back, bring it down. So now the knees are aligned, point the toe, and pull the heel to the butt. Hold it. When we do it in tabletop later, one more go through it, we're gonna go reverse circle. So you actually are gonna do it in reverse, but in a very easier form, okay? Now go slow, knee down, hip down, shake it out. Really nice job. We're gonna make our way to a couple stretches just to let you loosen up for a moment here. So maybe widen your feet a little bit if you wanted to switch it up a little. Okay, bend the knees. Let's forward fold. Let's touch our toes. You know, try to be intuitive. Like, do you want to touch your toes with your feet together today? Or do you want to maybe even go like a straddle? It's good to just kind of like, you can't do them all. So try to just think about it. Like, what are you doing more of? What are your tendencies? Or what do you feel like you need? You know, we're reaching for the floor. What do you want to, how do you want to do it today? Do you even want to cross your legs, right? Which would be kind of the opposite of a straddle forward fold. Listen to your body. Don't be shy to put your own spices into the mix, okay? Next posture is going to eventually be down dog. So it is, in a sense, similar. But I will use this to get into your calves a little bit. You get a little bit better into the back of the knees here, into the lower ankle. Move your hips a little side to side. I'm just kind of suggesting after that hip movement, a little stretch, a little bit of release. So your hips have been, really working, particularly like glute medius and hip flexor. So I'm gonna bring you like straight into the abs. All right, let's hold down dog for a few more breaths so we bear weight on those arms. If you want to do a couple of chaturangas, you're more than welcome. I'm gonna skip that for now. A lot of days I'll do I do legs first, guys, and core. I do some arms a lot, but I'm trying to really just put arms last. Now, we're gonna go right for it, guys. We're gonna drop down to our butt, and we're gonna lower onto our back, okay? And we are gonna start right into a butterfly on our back. And now this is a little different. We always do crunches, right? But I like to do this, like I said, if you push your soles of the feet together and engage your hamstrings and your glutes, your hip flexor is gonna stay out of the picture, okay? Go slow. If you're okay with it, press your lower back down, lift your chest, tap your shoulders. Lift your chest, tap your shoulders. So it's just a simple, isolated crunch. And I do want you to press your feet together for this, all right? Again, that will be awkward at first. A lot of times I'll have you do the squeezing a block, okay? Press your feet together and do a very slow, controlled crunch. Do not let your back arch. Couple more. It depends on how strong you are. Crunches, I usually need a good, somewhere between 20 and 30 to really get that going hard. Again, it's just going to depend on you and today. It's not like there's a perfect amount. Now, I am going to do the leg swing today with the pelvic lift. We did do this last week. So now, bring your knees together slowly. If you want to do a little bit of this, don't forget to shake it out and neutralize sensations. So it does look like this, yogis, okay? Legs go forward, lower back stays down, knees come in, press to lift the hips. It's all about controlling and contracting skillfully. With more practice, right, you can go up, more legs straight. But I really want you to slow down and try to feel it in the abs. So there's this idea in the neuromuscular training, how do you get people to connect to their muscle contractions better? You see it all the time. You take 10 people, they do the same amount of reps, the same amount of stimulation and challenge. And some people's muscles develop way faster. Some people get stronger way faster. Some people get injured way more. What is it? I mean, there's obviously a lot of things possibly there, but we find that people who develop that neuromuscular connection. So the idea is try to feel your muscles. You could take your hands right on your abs. That's hard here, right? But the idea is trying to feel a muscle more as you're working it. If your mind's wandering, you're at the gym, you're looking around. Ooh, look at that person. Oh, are they watching me? Look at, you got to really focus in. Remember, energy is flowing where your attention is. So just remember that and try to stay very focused on what we're doing. Okay. All right. So that's our second ab exercise. Now I am going to go for side plank. We are starting to bear weight on our arms. We did a couple lateral movements, like 3, right? So you're probably somewhat ready for this. I'm going to go left arm first today. Now, I am going to do the moving one. Some people in the gym, they'll take weights and they'll do this thing. I do that all the time, but you don't really want to do that if you're a novice or intermediate, really. So your arm is down, turned in. Your knee, this is how it starts. Full version's here. I'll just show you quick. But here, my butt is forward. Now, here we go. I'm going to lift my hips. It's called side planking yoga. Now watch. Drop my hips an inch. Lift my hips straight up an inch. Down, up, down, up. You do not need hyper range. I always work with people and I say, stop going so far. most people, you shouldn't go full range initially. It's more small movements, keep the muscle tense. Now, a more challenging version looks like this. And that's difficult. More challenging looks like this. Okay? More challenging is here. That's very challenging. With the leg, as you go down, also abducts. And as you abduct, you lift your hip, your leg goes lower in space. Your other leg abducts. So it's bilateral abduction. Second side, yogis, the idea is to, people always say, how many should I do? That's a tough one. You know, when you got groups, some people can do like 3 to 6. And that's how it all starts. Don't overstrain, build healthy here. And then some people are strong enough to do, you know, 15, 20 reps there. Just depends on where you're at. So second side, right forearm in. Now notice, if my right forearm is forward or too medial in, I like it kind of like right there. It's like a 40-degree angle or something like that. Try to find an intelligent position for your forearm. If your arm starts to hurt, maybe think about like, where's my arm placed? Could I place it more? One last little food for thought, guys. Some people are like this, right? And they're going like this. I want to see you more like this. See the posture? What I meant is people are like this all the time. You're more here. It's very lateral, okay? We are going to do the twisting one today too. One of my other, I tend to not teach these as much because they're really challenging in an asymmetrical lateral. I will teach really challenging in sagittal all the time. But when we get into coronal, when we get into transverse, I tend to be more careful to an extent. I still do really challenge you guys, all right? So listen, guys, I want you to finish up your second round. And now I do want you to take a little stretchy twist. So take a moment, go like this, side to side. Okay, we're on our back. Any twist, right thigh over left, both knees in, or left leg release. Slow down for a moment. Use a twist to kind of stretch out the side core that was just tensing. And the front core. Take a breath or 3 here, please. And let's do one bridge here. Oh, you got to do your second side. So let's come back to center and do our second side twist. It's just to calm you down for a moment. Just to release a little tension. Think of it like an interval training, that new thing that everyone loves, rightfully so. It's kind of like HIIT, high interval intensity. So you go really, really intense, then you bring it back down. You don't keep your heart rate spiked for that long. You go, it's just like you sprint, then you jog really slow. Then sprint, you jog really slow is the way that athletes do it. So I do want to do a bridge, kind of tightening up the back body here, okay? If there's other ways you want to do it today, just do simple. One leg, the straight leg bridge. If you're feeling like excellent wheel, but save a little energy. Arms down. If you want to block between your thighs, that'd be good. Press lower back down. Let's lift the hips. Take your time getting here. I'm just a little ahead of you, so you know where to go. Pubic bone forward and up. If you want to walk your hands underneath your body, roll your shoulders under. Come on, really engage that back body here, okay? Squeeze your heels to your shoulders. Press your big toe down. Posterior tilt, lengthen through your core. All right, so we are going to do our first rotational crunch here.
lower down, knees in the chest. Now a little bit different. My feet are about match width distance. Actually, my feet are slightly wider. Okay, I even have a very wide mat. So my feet are slightly wider. Now, I do want to kind of engage my legs, press my lower back down. It's very simple. I want to minimize rotation today right now. We did some big rotations earlier. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to press my lower back down, curl my upper body. Watch. My right hand taps my left thigh. Right hand outside right thigh. Left hand right thigh. We've done this before. It's been a while. Look at this little crunch. The whole while, I'm in a crunch, but the pulse is a little alternating thigh tap. That's it. You know, we've done like this. We've done, you know, a ton of different things here. We minimize rotation. We're not going for like super rotate right now. So last few yogis, we are going to do the true big rotation today in a seated version. So it's going to be tough. We're coming into we have 2 more big core rotations, okay? And then we're gonna come up and do our hip rotation. I want a bare arm and your weight on your arm again. So that is the little one, right? They do it like this too, where you kind of like pulse twice, neutral, pulse twice, neutral. They meaning fitness people, like people who are really, you know, doing a lot of ab work. It's a really good one. Been a while since we've done it. So when you're done, slowly release. Back to weight bearing on the arm, left side down first. Now, again, you can start here. Watch me. Look. Just to be clear, this is a lot on the shoulder. So you got to really tune into whatever one you're bearing weight on. I'm reaching underneath my left armpit. I'm pulling it back. Look, I really do pull my arm back, right? I really reach it under. I cross the arms. I open it up. So in essence, you are doing this. Now, if you're up for it, you could do full side plank or a full forearm plank. You could do full side plank if you want. And you could also combine stuff. If you watch me, last demo. This one, and then look. I like to put stuff together. This is how I would usually do it. See how it's the previous exercise now with the new one? Last few on your first side, you're kind of just pushing yourself, guys. I don't count out reps. I want you to listen to your body, push it, take a breather, and do your second side. 1 round only. Yogis, if you can't do this, holding side plank is fine. So is just turning a little bit down and up. You don't gotta like thread the needle all the way. That is gonna really, you know, this is a risky exercise. I did get you a lot warmed up here, kind of twisting. We did a twist stretch. We did a micro twist. What else? We did one more twist. Oh yeah, this one here. So you're ready, right? This one. That second side, if you're not doing it. Nice, everyone. If you can't do this one, what you do is you lay on your back, you close your eyes, and you do it mentally. You know, there's a lot of evidence, yogis. You know, the Russian Olympians, they have like daily practice of visualizing what they're doing with their body. They go into these deep trance-like states with certain music's playing, and they visualize them in their warm-up, doing their event, and seeing it in perfection, seeing them win. And seeing them perform at their best. You know, you create, you know, you see in your mind that which you desire. You practice that. A lot of times the mind, the amygdala, it wants to go into that kind of opposite. It's like you see yourself failing, you know, and that's kind of a bad mental habit, right? Try to see yourself in the forms and the state you desire. It's really, you know, an underutilized thing. Get out of there. So let's do one more little release here. So give your knees a squeeze. Meter rotation. Feet wide, knees knock left. Left foot on outer right knee.
If it's too much, just do this. Both knees knock left. Hold. Widen your arms, breathe. If it's easy, left foot on outer right knee. Flex both feet, relax. So I'm just doing this. This is like a type of figure 4 stretch, right? We did a lot of lateral rotation already. We did the butterfly on our back with the crunch. We did goddess a lot. When we did the circling, it was laterally based, right? So I'm just stretching in medial because there's been so much hyperlateral. Second side. You know, this idea in fitness and in yoga is just, can you make everything more intentional and intelligent and conscious? You know, go from the unconscious being to the conscious. Or, you know, as the Buddha put it, go from the ignorant to the aware or whatever. You know, it's not like what exercise is best. It's just like more like, what do you need? Can you have more intention behind what you're doing? More just purpose and it's not like, is there a best set of exercises? You know, we did so much lateral rotation, so we probably stretched medial, right? You want to stretch lateral again. So listen, guys, we're gonna make our way up to seated. So no rush. It might feel good to take a few of these, take a happy baby. Now we are gonna do this one. Now I don't teach this one that much. It is pretty good. You just have to watch out for rounding because we are rotating. The reason I don't teach this that much is because a lot of people get stuck in this. And in essence, what we're gonna do is this. Inhale, exhale. And what we're gonna do is take our hands kind of intertwine. And I do want you to look, pull the right elbow down and back. So I'm gonna ask you to drive in rotation. Now look, the more I'm rounded, the more, remember when I have you do this one? And I always say extension and rotation, not here, here. So it's kind of that same thing. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Let's do feet down. Feet down, guys, okay? So feet down about hips width distance. Watch, fingers intertwine. Again, I'm breathing like that so you can hear me. A good little addition could be blocked between your thighs. I like to do this when I do it. I'll hook my heels in front of a bar and pull my heels toward me. What does activated hamstrings do? Takes hip flexors out of the equation so your abs can work better. All right, so you're here. I'm leaning back a little. I'm not letting my spine round. Look. I am, this is obliques, right? So it's all here. And look, I'm going, you're gonna feel it. You know, it's not as common we do that in yoga. I do this one in the gym a lot where I'm like, I pull, I lean and I pull here, right? It's not a thing we get to do in yoga a lot. We do this sometimes, right? Which is similar, but not in rotation. Last few, please. There are more challenging variations if you know them. I'm gonna keep it there because we've already done a lot. And we still gotta get a hit to our hips and our lower back. And that's gonna be the end of strengthening today, okay? And you'll take a stretch or two after that. All right, guys, when you're done there, a good neutralizer is our cat-cow. Swing it around, arch your back, round your spine. You know, the reason there's always the debates on these things. Like I could be wrong in a lot of this stuff, you know, as time goes. I'm trying to use the most modern science, but also not be limited to that. We got to keep an open mind. Sometimes science is very closed-minded. The reason that we do want to arch around our spine is because of pelvic stability and mobility. Okay? I'm a big believer that pelvic stability and mobility is the guiding force of posture and body ability and structural longevity. It all comes down to basically this and this. Right from here, it's the middle. It's the bridge between leg, weight bearers, and upper body and spine. All right, guys, so let's do it. Now we're gonna go the opposite direction. So back and then forward, okay? Here we go. Right leg lifts. Point right toe, bend your heel to your butt. Now it's a little odd. I bring the right knee back across to the left a little bit. Say watch, here's neutral, watch. I bring it over my left heel even behind it. Don't arch your back, okay? So, go slow, guys. Open, relax your knee a little bit, bring it wide out to like your fire hydrant posture. Outer edge of right foot, shin, lift up. Lift your knee higher than your foot higher. Go slow, bring it to your right shoulder. Bring it down underneath the body. Try to bring it to your left wrist. Right knee, left wrist. Outer edge of right foot goes out. Bring it across. Right leg back. Point toe, squeeze your heel to your butt. Pull your ribs in. Bring your right knee over to the left behind you. Right leg backing up. Release the bending of the knee a little. Turn the knee out. Bring it wide. Knee higher, heel higher. Shoulder. Right knee, left wrist. I am having you focus on glute medius a little bit today because we did the glute max. I didn't kind of mention that, and I am skipping the 2 glute exercises I wanted to do. Okay, just bring your knee back down. Just getting a little low on time. We'll give it a quick taste. You guys, you're getting saved by time here, okay? Shake it out. So just to be clear, the first thing we did this, look, we started forward and then went wide and then we went back. So now we're going back first. Here we go. Left foot back. Remember, guys, I don't say this every class, but as your left leg goes back, I want to start your back. That's when arching becomes bad, let's say. Squeeze your heel to your butt, point your toe. As you lift your femur bone back and up, squeeze your heel to your butt, pull your ribs in and against it. It's always posterior tilt and extension. Always for the modern human, right? Now listen, go slow. Bring it across back. So your left knee kind of reaches for your outer right heel. It's very subtle. So we're not wide yet. We're not in fire hydrant. Think of the opposite. The knee is kind of down and back behind across, okay? Then you go back up to the neutral, release the knee bend a little, and then you go wide slowly. So your knee is gonna now, your heel is way higher, right? So first you bring your knee out and that's like the highest point for a moment. So you're in the fire hydrant, your knee lifts out and up, but then your outer left foot lift higher than your knee. Rotation, it's just like this exercise where you're here, you hands higher than elbow if we were in locust, okay? Now go slow, bring the knee to the shoulder. It's still wide, knee to shoulder. We do it in plank all the time. We're doing it in a slow version. You know, eventually we do this in plank. It is nuts. You could always try it if you want. Now listen, left knee, right elbow, left knee, right wrist. So it is down a little bit and you can try to immediately rotate more. So the outer shin kind of goes forward. So it's almost like your outer left ankle is going toward your left wrist too. But you also pull your left inner thigh up across to the right, like ribs. Left inner thigh to right ribs, okay? Yeah, and then also you could do now left foot to right thigh. I didn't mention that in the first part for time's sake here. There's too many little details we could do. Left leg backing up. Last part. Bend your heel to your butt, pull your ribs in. Lift your femur bone, that's your big leg bone that connects to your hip, up higher, but pull your ribs in against it. Okay, now go slow. Cross that left knee over to the right. So it is an adduction, a scissoring. There you go. Now go slow, fire hydrant. So I call it that because it's like the dog, right? So pup who pees on the fire hydrant. So your knee is out wide, you're lifting the outer edge of your leg up. So we just came from adduction, so now it's outer abduction. And we came from more of a lateral rotation, now medial. So your left outer foot lifts higher. So your knee lifts out up, and then your foot lifts out and up higher. And then take your time, left knee, left shoulder. This runs a little bit faster. Left knee, left shoulder. Lift it out and up, lift it out and up. Yep, you can medial rotate if you know how to. And then left knee, right wrist. And then again, you can go left medial rotate because we're in glute medius land here. And then you could also try left foot, right thigh. That's very difficult here. See? Left foot, thigh. Okay. And then back it up. Cat-cow it, please. So we are going to make our way down to the chest today. If there is a little arm, what's our arm bearing? It's been very minimal. 2 rounds of side plank with movements and a down dog. So if you want to do a quick low plank hold, if you hold this for 30 seconds, you're going to get a lot of stimulation. You can do a couple push-ups, just 1 round. You guys know most classes we will be doing a lot of that type of exercise. I want to be careful with that. We're always here. Let's get a little bit more here, right? So we are going to do our back here to end class. So we are going to lay on our chest, shake it out. Now, in yoga, sometimes we get a little limited. We don't have big exercise balls. We don't have contraptions. We don't have resistance bands. We don't have weights. Those all can make stimulating certain muscles but easier. So how are we going to do this? Little just cobra lift. Feet stay down. Pubic bone presses down. Legs engage. Toes point. Lift your chest. I'm not going to use my hands really. Shoulders back and down. Neck long. Lower down. Tap your chin. Lift. Lower. Lift. Lower. You got a few more. I want you to engage your lower back. It tends to be a place in your body that's hard to engage because it's just like your rotator cuff. You do all these big lifts and weight bearings. Your rotator cuffs never actually engage because your deltoids, your pec major, your trap, and your lat engage. So your rotator cuff actually gets very weak. And that's why a lot of people have, it's like one of the most common injuries is like rotator cuff. That's why sometimes I'm mentioning like bands are so good, or like a machine or a way we can rotate. I just mentioned bringing your hand higher than your elbow. That's a rotator quality. Okay. Same with your hips. Same with your back. You'll get your core. You'll get your hips. You get your certain back muscles firing. Those little ones in the lower back won't fire. Okay. So lower down. Please take a breather. Now a little bit different here. You got a couple options. You could pad your head. You could bring your arms forward. If you want more, you could lift your chest a little bit, but we're going to widen our feet about hips width distance, slightly wider. Watch. Lift. Leg lift. Leg lift. Leg lift. Okay? Last few, please. I do want you to try to minimize momentum. A little momentum's good to get up, but then you got to try to go slow down. Okay? Fight that negative falling. I want to try to get those legs to point, toes straight, toes point, knees straight, and lift the leg up, even the hips up a little. We call that a reverse. We do that on our back where our legs lift and they take the pelvis with it. We're trying to do it here too a little bit, okay? Pull that belly in now. Last few, leg lifts. Lift those legs, guys. I can't see what you guys are doing, so I'll trust that you're doing it well. Now we do get very asymmetrical here. I rarely ever teach that in this class because it is advanced where we lift in locust type positions, back shortenings. We side bend in locust. We also do like twisting motions in locust, but I don't teach that really, but I do want you to recognize that does happen, okay? Now, you're done with your isolated upper and your isolated lower. What do you think comes next? Compound, upper, lower together. Watch me. I want your arms wide today. Everything lifts, everything lowers. Everything lifts, everything lowers. This is your last strenuous exercise. I'm not having you hold today. We do that more often than not. I want you to move in and out. don't take this lightly. It's what it is, guys. It's just strengthening muscles that are weak on the average person. That is why a exercise becomes likely to injure. That's simple. You know, a muscle that's weak hurts to engage. Now, the other side of the coin is a lot of people don't really realize that your body uses energy to lengthen muscles. Your body uses energy to stretch. So every time, not only, it's a common contraction is thought to use a lot of energy. You know, the calcium and the calcium phosphorus in the cross bridge, mechanism of your muscle. Do you know that in the against the gradient, the calcium has to be moved too. So when you lengthen a muscle, you use a lot of energy as well. So that's not commonly known, right? Unless you study myology like I did, you wouldn't really know that, even as people who study exercise. So when we lengthen a muscle here, there's a lot of energy being used to lengthen your front body, especially because that gradient isn't developed in the average person. So you did your 3 rounds in your back, upper, lower, both together. Let's stretch. Rise up, please. Take a child pose. I will teach. We're done with inner thighs. We're done with outer hips. I'm just going to do a quick pigeon today. Right shin goes forward because we did the hip circles, right? Right shin forward, left hip back. If there's another big hip stretch you want to do, feel free. Forearms down. If you'd like, a couple breaths. If your hip flexors feel tight, you can stay up here. Just crawl that left foot back and lift that heart. So it is about 10 right now, guys. We're going to do about a few more minutes, just a couple more minutes to end class. I know somebody's got to kick out right at 10. Slow down, yogis. We have been really active. I've been talking a lot of body awareness. I'm teaching a lot of concepts, and let's slow down mentally, physically here, and just kind of be in a stretch. Now, switch sides whenever you want. You know the deal here. You know to work on what am I doing with my body? Where am my tendencies? Where am I compensating? Where am I being lazy? Where am I straining? And if I may show you quick, the 2 exercises we were going to do today, we'll save for next week now. We've done this once before. It's been a while. So on my glute exercises, I have these 2. So basically what we do here, guys, is you got to kind of brace yourself. And I turn toe, look at this. I go forward with my top leg. I turn the toe down. And then I just do these like leg lifts. That's glute medius, right? So it's going to be here. Don't do this right now, but and then the other one is you kind of have to actually roll onto your chest. I go behind me, I turn my toes up, and I lift. Okay, so we're going to save those for next week with some of our martial art, kicking, leg swinging, stuff for our core tomorrow. We did the leg circles today, so we're going to do kind of like almost like an opposite thing tomorrow, a little bit like more movements in those hips next week. So we'll get some nice contrast training. And that's always the key to growth. It's good to have our patterns and routines, but let's keep confusing those muscles. Let's keep the muscles learning. Okay, so you did your second side. How about we do one more stretch of choice? You know, a good one might be something like this, you know, where we stretch our ankles and we lean back because we didn't do that. A good one could be possibly a little seated spinal twist or a restorative bridge or fish. That's it for my options. Last posture, let's do about a minute, minute and a half, and then we will do a short 2-minute Shavasana. When I was in India, we were all yoga teachers, and everyone was really good at shavasana and loved shavasana, right? So we'd take these really long shavasanas, but then they introduced us to the idea of like, what if you don't have as long? You know, a lot of times in life, you don't have as much time to practice relaxing your body. So can you get better at getting right into shavasana and getting to that space faster? Now that can induce almost like a stress, which would be like the opposite of shavasana. So the idea is like, oh, we only have 2 minutes now to relax our body. Can I get into that shavasana state faster without so much kind of unwinding, without so much drama, without so much time needed? Oh, you always need 5-10 minutes to get into a relaxed mind and body? Well, a lot of times in life, you don't have that much time to relax. So can you now set an intention? Okay, you're good at shavasana, but it takes 10-15 minutes. It takes 5 minutes. Can you keep, in a sense, getting better at getting your body relaxed without so much time? All right. Ideally in this class we would go longer because it's a little bit more of like a beginner intermediate training, but that's just some food for thought. Look for the opportunity, when we don't have enough time for shavasana, and I really should be going longer. It's not good that I don't give you guys enough time to relax. So maybe when you're done, looks like some of you are already getting there, get to your final position. And it's the opposite. I need you to relax your muscles. I need you to relax your breath, even your jaw. You kept it sealed all class. Your tongue, you can all relax. Your eyes have been working, relax. If you want one last breath, you do it. Lungs relax, bones get heavy, melt into the floor. Final pose when you're ready, please.